Are my hands too sweaty? What if I forget something? Does my breath smell? These are just a few of the many worries that you may have during an interview. Today, we will discuss interview tips and mistakes and how you can overcome those worries by perfecting behavioral-based questions. Also, how to use them successfully. We will also discuss the major things that candidates forget during an interview and how you can prepare to nail your dream job. Now you're probably thinking, all I have to do is walk in, talk about my resume, look professional, and shake the employer's hand. Simple as that. Interviews can be a lot more complex, and answering the right question to a future employer can either make or break you. Jan Knight, a professional career coach, said, "The most accurate predictor of future performance is past performance in a similar situation." Jan Knight is talking about behavioral questions. Usually, behavioral questions will start with a question like, "Tell me about a time when," or "Give me an example of," whereas traditional interview questions will reflect on who you are, your strengths, and your weaknesses. While your skills and experience may be perfect for a specific position within a company, you may lose out on because you cannot validate you have achieved a great amount of communication skills or time management skills. So how do we practice for behavioral-based questions? According to Jan Knight, we must first think like the employer and imagine what the ideal candidate for the position would answer. For example, if I were applying for a position as a dairy herdsman, taking care of livestock all day, an employer might ask, "Give me an example of a time when you would be quick in coming to a decision." After thinking like an employer, we must take the time and review the job description and to research the company and background. How else are we supposed to know if we like the job? Jan Knight gives many examples of popular quality behavioral-based questions an employer might ask. For decision making, describe a situation in which you use good judgment and logic to solve a problem. For leadership, describe the most challenging group from which you had to gain cooperation. Communication. Describe a situation in which you were able to communicate with another individual who you did not personally like, or vice versa. These are just a few of the examples that might be used in a behavioral-based interview. Once we have determined what employers are looking for in a candidate, we must look on our past experiences and create a story to answer these questions. These answers need to include 3 things. First, a description of a specific real-life situation or challenge that you have experienced. Second, a description of the specific task and how you overcame that challenge or situation. And third, a summary of the result of that situation. Think of it as telling a story. You want to describe the what, which is the situation, and how, which is the result of the story to the employer. If you have trouble telling stories, make sure to practice. Practice makes perfect. After nailing those behavioral questions and leaving the interview with confidence, most candidates forget one thing. According to Jessica Ledman, the managing editor of the Business Manager, the number one mistake people make during an interview is not sending a thank you note or a day after email. Whether it's a 10-minute interview, an interview over coffee, or a phone interview, people are forgetting to follow up with a thank you letter or email. Writing a thank you note can be simple as, "Thank you for taking the time to interview with me. The job sounds perfect. I show the potential and passion for this position. It would make a perfect candidate." A thank you note should include 3 things. 1, thank you for meeting with me or talking with me. 2, I really want this job. And 3, quick plug about why you're perfect for that position. Jessica Ledman interviews hundreds of people each year. Many people forget to send thank you notes or emails. When people don't send a thank you note, Jessica and other employers assume you don't want the job, or you're disorganized and forget to follow up. In conclusion, whether it be answering behavioral-based questions or sending a thank you letter or email after an interview, we need to make sure we have researched the criteria and background of the company and that we send a thank you note to the interviewer. For interviews, practice makes perfect.